Hello, everybody. I'm Anna Salter. Thank you for welcoming us here in beautiful New York today. We came in with good weather and we're going to leave in time for it to change, I think. But I'm head of data and insights at Onclusive, and I am based in London.
I'm Darryl. I'm the MD and co-founder of Hard Numbers. I am the corporate influencer for Hard Numbers.
Yeah, the decomplexifier. New word in my vocab, thank you. So Onclusive is a global organization. We help clients with making sense and proving the value of their communications and marketing efforts. Very tech-based. We can modernize communications. We look after monitoring, planning, targeting, measurement and consultancy for PR and marketing people. And on the consultancy side, proving the value, we're very proud of all the awards we've won, not least the AMEC Awards.
Hard Numbers is a PR marketing communications consultancy, about 6 years old. We're called Hard Numbers for two reasons. We help ambitious high-growth businesses achieve stretching commercial targets. So we help our clients to achieve hard numbers, and we deliver best-in-class measurement of what we do. So we deliver hard numbers on our impact and efficacy. So in terms of, to explain GEO, it's kind of come up already today. Depending on who you listen to, either it is snake oil made up by AI training folks and people trying to sell you prompting tools, or it is the most important digital marketing discipline and invention since the Enigma machine. As is so often the case, the truth is somewhere between those two things. GEO ultimately is the art and the science and the discipline of trying to improve how your business, your brand, your organization, the product or service that you supply appears within AI search results on LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini and Perplexity and things like that. Why bother? As someone who likes hard numbers, I've got some hard numbers that hopefully help make the case for you. 3.8 billion downloads in 2025 of AI applications globally, up from 1.49 billion the year before. So that shows the kind of huge level of growth that we're seeing there. ChatGPT has something of the order of 900 million monthly active users, dependent on what numbers you pay attention to, and 912 billion searches a year are conducted via ChatGPT currently, which compares to about 5 trillion with Google, but still pretty good numbers. Forrester's buyer survey in 2024 said that 89% of buyers consult AI platforms at some point during the buying process. And the money shot there from SEMrush, traffic that's referred to your site from an AI platform converts at 4.4x the rate of traffic from traditional search. So if you're not capturing search that's coming from AI platforms, you're missing out on the most valuable type of traffic anywhere. So, quick overview of our first research report that we conducted way back. Not to say we were first, but we were first in October, November of 2024. We looked at reputation in the age of AI. We looked at the world's 100 biggest brands, and we asked ChatGPT 4 questions in relation to them, in relation to their reputation, quality of product or service, innovation, value for money, etc. And we found that editorial content was cited in 61% of all responses in relation to those questions. And then when it came to trust and innovation, those numbers were even higher. So editorial media really helps influence reputation. We wanted to go to the next level with that research, and so we worked with our partners at Onclusive.
Thank you very much, Darryl. Yes, so our next step was really to build on this and to set up a real-life study using what was actually being talked about in earned media and looking at how that interacted with the AI outputs. And we asked various questions around which categories, how brands were performing within categories, how well they were performing against specific procurement style questions. And sorry, I'm going to need to remind myself. Yes, and here we are. And how they performed in head-to-head comparisons. So these were the key ways in which people really asked questions of AI. So we took into account 143 brands and looked at them within various different contexts. So which category or subcategory were they being mentioned within? We looked at earned media, both across online news and all the social platforms. And we looked across 3 LLMs, so ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, and we had search enabled, so we were making sure that we were using live search rather than just the historical training data, which would be what was being used before 23 when OpenAI came blazing to the fore. So we measured the earned media, as you would expect. We looked at the sentiment, we looked at the reach of every mention of these brands, and we accumulated that up using volume to get a view of the weight and the sentiment of content being mentioned across earned media. And then for the AI side of things, we looked at the rank of each brand within these 3 AI platforms. So which was the best brand within each category and subcategory. They were given a score between 0 and 30 according to how they ranked. We also looked at those concern scores that we mentioned. So the procurement style questions that people are asking, you know, what are the red flags here? Is there anything I should worry about if I bought this brand? And those concern scores were between 0 and 100. And so to talk about what we found, there is a full report which we'll give you the link to at the end of this presentation. So I'm just going to really boil it down to 3 key findings. That reach and sentiment were really strongly driving recommendation. We found that the strongest media presence and the highest levels of sentiment were very closely aligned with strong rankings in LLMs. We found that positive editorial media meant that brands with positive outcomes in editorial were seeing the fewer red flags, concerns being allayed in the LLM returns. And finally, we found that brands with high levels of positivity were 3 times as likely to win head-to-heads. A lot more information in the report, but we are going to move on to some more practical information for you. So we're going to talk about how you start measuring. Again, that's my job, so I'm going to talk about that. So if you look at your referral traffic, get behind the scenes in your Google Analytics, and you can have a look at what is driving, where the LLMs are driving traffic in your domains. If you analyze the specific pages which are being visited, set up a custom group within GA, and you can see which pages are being visited from LLMs, and then cross-reference that information against the keyword ranking and search volume, so you can see what people are looking for in real life. And if you would like to just scribble down this advice about the filter for how to set that up in GA4, or if you would like to use this handy little link, and then I'm going to hand back to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So how do you build a prompt library? When we, a prompt library, trademark Daniela Stollery, by the way, who came up with that term. Love that as a term. So what we do is we want to mimic how users search on these platforms as much as possible in natural language, so that we can write prompts that are as accurate as possible to help us get results which most closely reflect what users might be seeing when they are searching on these AI platforms. And there's 2 keys to writing good prompts. The first is intent, right? When people ask, what is the best? Compare providers of. et cetera, et cetera. So that intent. And then the second is context, the specifics, the qualifiers that people would use, the specifics in relation to the size of their organization, their function, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to the next slide, please. So dividing those into two different sources of data. The first, for intent, Google Search Console is a great source of seeing how people are searching, what topics they're searching for to come to your website currently on traditional search, and that gives you the highest volume terms that you can then use for AI search. To give you a case study on that, we had a client that has optimized all of the content on their website for retirement solutions. There is not a single person in this room when they're searching for pensions or investments that search using the phrase retirement solutions. So the first thing we did when we did some analysis for them was to say, well, look, this is how people are searching for your products and services currently, for when we then went and built a prompt library for them. Second is Google Analytics. So the analysis that Anna was referring to. What traffic is coming to your website from what AI platforms and what terms do they rank for on traditional search? That gives us a great indicator for the terms that people are using to find your website via AI search. Client sales enablement content. All of the information that we would normally ask a client when we start working with them. Who are your competitors? What are your USPs? What are the key features and benefits of your product or service that you want people to search for to find you? What are the reasons in your CRM that you lose business to competitors? Not something, of course, that Onclusive has much experience of doing. Anyway, and then finally, answer the public or people also ask. So use tools like that to basically find how people, again, how in natural language people are searching the internet for your products, your service, your categories, or those of your clients or the organization you represent. If you go to the next slide, please. It's all about the who. So firstly, really building that customer persona. Using, when you write a prompt, I am a, and then use all of the demographic and other information that you have about your target prospective customer. And when you have different target prospective customer groups, build those up as different types of prompts that you would then ask, and then you can categorize the result based on your target customer. Secondly, the what. What is it that they're looking for from the research that you've conducted in natural language? How are they searching for it? And then finally, the why. What are those specifics? What are the things they're looking for? What are the criteria? What are they going to make a decision based on? And that's the last piece of the puzzle. And you build that up in a spreadsheet that you can then use to build a library of, like I say, up to about 100 prompts is a pretty good sample base to be using. And then the which is, divide that into branded prompts, prompts that mention the brand, the business, the organization by name, and generic prompts, ones that talk generically about the product, service, or category and don't mention the company, because that helps you get that share of model analysis that you need to have. Finally, putting this into effect for an actual client. This is a client of Hard Numbers on Fuse. They cloud-based global card issuing business. They have a product called a bank identification number sponsorship. Very sexy stuff. Or BIN sponsorship. It's basically a way that you can issue a card on behalf of someone else as a third party. So on Fuse found that term in the UK and its variants has about 1,000 searches a month. So it's a high intent, high customer acquisition phrase that they want to rank for. They used to rank on traditional search in position 1 for it. They were falling there. They were also seeing that more of the search in relation to that topic was coming from AI platforms, not from traditional search. So that was the other key thing they had to do. So they wanted to improve their ranking on Google. They wanted to drive more search in relation to that term from AI platforms. If you go to the next slide, we did 3 things for them. The first thing, we built a prompt library using all the techniques that I talked you guys through. And that enabled us to get insights that we could then apply to doing GEO for this client. We did on-site optimization. We improved the page that they had in relation to bin sponsorship. We improved internal linking. We did some other work to make sure that that page was as machine readable as it possibly could be. And we also did some off-site, good old-fashioned PR. We built a list of sources that we knew were widely cited by AI platforms in relation to bin sponsorship, and we did outreach to those on the client's behalf. And it drove results. Delighted to say that they saw a 3-fold increase in traffic to that page from AI platforms, and they ended up ranking position 1 for that term again. And as you can see from the screenshot that we've got there, if you ask ChatGPT about bin sponsorship, they come up first in relation to that term. And that is the point at which I hand back to you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so just to wrap up, because we know we've only got a couple of minutes left. First of all,
luckily John is busy, so
she you were too busy. You didn't see her holding up the sign 3 minutes ago. So first of all, visibility. We have proven that it drives LLM recommendations. So reach and sentiment in good old-fashioned earned media is still a very good thing. Sentiment improves your chances in lots of different ways to win against competitors, allay concerns for procurement people, and just generally rank higher. And it will pay for you guys to get into the technology, get behind the scenes, make some friends in your digital marketing teams, learn how to optimize both on-site and off, and then take it to the next level by really owning it. So thank you very much. We would love questions if there's probably 1 minute, but here is the link to the full report.
Round of applause for Darryl and Anna. We do have time for one question. One question? I will take the question then. So, Darryl, you talk about being the first, and I am guessing that there is going to be a lot of discussion about were you the first isn't always best. I'm here for those conversations, especially if there's a cocktail involved. I think that's really spirited. But I think, you know, what have you seen from that evolution? I mean, fundamentally, are there a lot of changes that you see from that playbook, or are they kind of those small changes that you're seeing that you're able to kind of get that feedback back to clients in a quick way so that they can operationalize the changes that they're happening kind of every week on the LLMs?
Yeah, you know, we have a deck that we give people, which is our best practice. It's like training for GEO, all the rest of it. That deck has iterated more times than any other document in our business. We're on like V12, I think, or something of that deck. The reason being the algorithms are changing all the time. The models are being updated all the time. You know, just take one example, right? Reddit. Reddit has been an absolute roller coaster ride, if you were tracking it, of like how influential it is on LLMs and stuff like that, how widely cited it is. If at any one point you were making, you know, 6 months ago, people were saying you have to have a Reddit strategy for your business, right? And like it's all about Reddit. And like now you see that LinkedIn is fast becoming one of the most cited sources on LLMs. But is that going to be the case in 3 months' time? And why is that the case? Is it because of RAG, which is what Rob was talking about earlier, when LLMs go out and do a live internet search? Or is it in the model training data? And all these things are like known unknowns and unknown unknowns. And our job as consultants, where there's confusion, there's consultancy. Our job is to help explain this stuff to our clients.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Another round of applause for Darryl and Anna.
Thank you.
Great.